Hello and welcome to another video. Today I thought I would do just a super fast unhaul because I need to be stopped. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with the books that I bought from new. The majority of the books that I typically buy are thrifted for two reasons. I think it's wonderful to give old books a new home and to budget. So I picked up Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. The first line is what got me. I have been locked up for 264 days. The main character, Juliet, when she touches people, they die. So that is Shatter Me. The next book that I picked up was Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. This was a very anticipated book following the release of House in the Cerulean Sea. I went ahead and grabbed this, especially since a couple of the bookstagrammers that I follow have just been absolutely singing its praises. So I am really excited to get into this one as well. This one, Neon Gods by Katie Robert. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling, which I always love, especially because this is supposed to be a very spicy book. I typically don't pick up books like that. You know, it's not a typical plot point that really pulls me in, but something about Hades and Persephone specifically bring on the spice. That's all I'm gonna say. Next, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now, I have seen this book absolutely everywhere. From what I understand, this book just has one of those plots that will leave you shaking. And I'm really looking forward to the amount of suspense that this book has been hyped up to have. So, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Lastly, out of the new books, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book has been recommended to me as a book that's going to make me cry. It's been recommended to me as a book that involves an LGBTQ main character. I'm not entirely sure how or who, but I am incredibly excited to find out. So, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, as for my thrifted books, I'm actually super proud. Like, I could do an entire video just on my Savers haul. First, I found the entire series of Becca Fitzpatrick's Hush Hush. I am incredibly excited to figure out where I can put this series on my TBR. I anticipate binging the whole thing. It's just, what else am I gonna do? I don't really have another choice. Very excited for these. Next, a few years ago, I received a promotional arc for Black Widow. I remember reading it and being so excited for the book, and then never buying it because it just kind of fell off my radar. But at the thrift store, I did find the actual full-size book. So, Black Widow, Forever Read by Margaret Stoll. Next, from Savers, I did find a copy of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This one was a particularly thrilling find because I have been wanting a copy of this book for months now. I meant to flip through it when I got it, and before I knew it, I had accidentally read the first 50 pages. So I may even dive into it next, even though I already had a list of things I want to get through because I am just already in love with it. Lastly, from my Savers trip, I did find a copy of Victoria Aveyard's Red Queen. Finding not only a copy, but a beautiful hardcover copy at Savers, didn't really have a choice. So those are the books that came home with me from the thrift store. Now, lastly, before I put myself on a book ban, I did end up buying 4 more books online, which probably wasn't the best thing to do considering I had already purchased so many, but I just can never ever say no to thrifted books. So from eBay, I did find a copy of As You Wish by Jackson Pierce. This was one of my absolute favorite books in high school, and I actually today don't remember very much about it. I am planning on doing a video sometime in the future about rereading childhood favorites, and so it just felt a little too perfect to not add it to my cart. Speaking of childhood favorites, Dragon Rider by Cornelia Funk ended up in my cart as well. This one was a little bit more elementary school Mariah. This one was definitely a little more high school Mariah, but they were both books that I absolutely loved. Next, this book was also high school Mariah. This one is The Valley of the Wolves by Laura Gallego Garcia. It is a very sweet, more somber story. I probably am responsible for half of the times it's been checked out from my local library. Lastly, I have a copy of the Cliff's Notes for John Knoll's A Separate Piece. The reason I purchased this one in particular is because A Separate Piece by John Knowles is possibly one of my favorite books of all time. I have 3 copies on my shelf. One is to just enjoy reading, one is for highlighting and notes, which has since been filled up, and so I have started on a second. So these are the books that I have recently added to my collection. There are far too many of them, and I am far too happy with the fact that I now have them. Thank you so much for watching with me. Remember to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and the bell right next to it will notify you when I post. With that said, I will see you next week. Bye!